Noswaith da, pawb. Croeso I Quiz Natur Ma Cymru. Wythnos Natur Cymru. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wales Nature Week Big Wales Nature Quiz. This quiz has been put together by the 4 local environmental record centres of Wales. My name's Colin Russell from West Wales Biodiversity Information Centre, one of those local record centres. So this quiz is very much in the style of a pub quiz, and it's a great mix of questions for all ages and knowledge, sometimes closely, but sometimes or often loosely around the nature theme. So it is a quiz for everyone. It's in 5 rounds, and we'll do the answers after each round. There's quite a lot to get through in a reasonable time. The chat feed will be switched off until the end of the quiz, so there'll be no heckling. And please do post your scores then, when it's switched back on. My background isn't a pub, unfortunately. It's Llynbriani of West Wales. And I haven't been out in lockdown. This was a lovely day in an Indian summer of September 2014. So everyone, paper and pens at the ready, and we'll start the quiz. We are. So just let's get the slides going. It's not working. Let's pause that and see if we can get that to work. Okay, here we go with round 1. And the theme for round 1 is the best of Wales. An easy one to start with. Question 1, what is the national flower of Wales? Question 1 is, what is the national flower of Wales? Question 2, what fish is unique to Wales? What fish is said to be unique to Wales? A little bit longer to think about than that. I think give you a few seconds on each question. Okay, have a think about that one. Question 3, which national park is the oldest in Wales? 3 national parks. And which of those national parks is the oldest in Wales? Question 4, what is the English name of Sigaldegood? It's a bird which walks rather than hops. Might be a clue in the Welsh name. Question 4 is, what is the English name of Sigaldegood? A bird which walks rather than hops. Moving on to question 5. What is laver bread made from? What is laver bread made of? Question 6. What colour is the flower of the Welsh poppy? What colour is the flower of the Welsh poppy? On to question 7. What is the only species with a scientific name based on a Welsh word? A little bit more technical this now. What is the only species with a scientific name based on a Welsh word? Going on to question 8. What is the longest river entirely in Wales? That is, that its source and where it discharges into the sea, where it empties into the sea. The mouth of the river is entirely within the borders of Wales. What is the longest river entirely in Wales? Okay, so let's move on to question 9. Which Welshman independently conceived the theory of evolution? Which Welshman independently conceived the theory of evolution? It is acknowledged that 2 people actually came up with the theory. Although one large receives most of the credit for it. Going on to question 10, the last question in this round. What bird of prey survived in Wales after being eradicated in England and Scotland in the 18th century? Perhaps this is a bit easier. So what bird of prey survived in Wales after being eradicated in England and Scotland in the 18th century? A few more seconds on those. And so what I'll do now is I'll go back in the slides. I will go through the questions quickly again, and we'll then go to the answers. I hope we're having long enough for the questions. As I say, with 5 rounds, we've got to be aware of the length of time. So back to the beginning. Question 1 was, what is the national flower of Wales? Question 2 is, what fish is unique to Wales? Question 3 is, which national park is the oldest in Wales? Question 4 is, what is the English name of Sigilligut, a bird which walks rather than hops? Question 5, what is lava bread made of? Question 6, what colour is the flower of the Welsh poppy? Question 7, what is the only species with a scientific name based on a Welsh word? Question 8, what is the longest river entirely in Wales? Question 9, which Welshman independently conceived the theory of evolution? And question 10 is what bird of prey survived in Wales after being eradicated in England and Scotland in the 18th century? Okay, hope you all got an answer for those. Some easy, some perhaps a little bit less so. The answers now. So we'll do the answers in batches so we don't have to go through each slide. So the answer to question 1, I hope everybody got, was the daffodil. The answer to question 2 is the gwyniad. It's a fish found in Tegid, Lake Bala. I do believe it's been introduced to another lake as its population is under threat from another introduced fish into Lake Bala. The answer to question 3 is Snowdonia National Park. It was first designated in 1951, only just before the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park, which was 1952. So very close in time there. And then they were followed by the Brecon Beacons National Park in 1957. Question 4, we have here pied wagtail. I think for Sigligut, we would just accept wagtail if you put wagtail, because obviously there are more than one species. Question 5, lava bread is made from seaweed. And if you put Porphyra species, I think we can give you a bonus point, but you would get a point for seaweed. And the answer to the Welsh poppy, the flower is yellow. I was quite surprised in another quiz that how few people actually got that. Perhaps they weren't naturalists, so particularly interested in that sort of thing, but there were very, very few people got that correct in another quiz. The answer to question 7, the only species with a Welsh name in its scientific name, is the ghost slug. Rather peculiar looking slug, very pale looking creature, with the wonderful name Selenoclamis asperida, which is a lovely mix of Greek and Welsh, very descriptive, which translates, well, I believe it translates as Selenoclamis, moon-cloaked spirit, moon-cloaked spirit. Poetic. It could have been written by Dylan Thomas. The answer to question 8, the longest river entirely in Wales is the Tywi, at approximately 75 miles. The answer to question 9 is, of course, Alfred Russel Wallace, who was originally from Monmouthshire, and when he came up with similar ideas to Charles Darwin and wrote to him, Darwin decided it was time to publish his theory. And I think we mostly know the story from there. And the answer to question 10 is red kite, which has now become so common in Wales, thanks to a lot of hard work by conservationists. There we are. That was round 1. So moving on to round 2. And this is around the theme of sport. did say this was pub quiz, and you might be wondering how this works with the nature theme, but let's see. Question 1 is, what tree is a cricket bat made from? Question 1 is, what tree is a cricket bat made from? Question 2. What species of moth swarmed the Euro 2016 football final? A bit more specialist, this one, I think. Whether it's specialist football knowledge or specialist lepidopteran knowledge, I have no idea. What species of moth swarmed the Euro 2016 football final? Question 3, perhaps an easy one, but I do like this question. What British bird of prey is 5 times faster than Usain Bolt? I have no idea how fast Usain Bolt can travel, but the question that was submitted to us is, what British bird of prey is 5 times faster than Usain Bolt? Question 4. In what sport will you find ospreys? Question 4 is, in what sport will you find ospreys? Another tongue-in-cheek one, I think, here we have. Question 5 is, what type of bat would you find in Yankee Stadium? Question 5 is, what type of bat would you find in Yankee Stadium? One for the specialists here in the sport round. What bird is the nickname of Barmouth and Dufferin United Football Club? Definitely worth a guess. Question 6 is, what bird is the nickname of Barmouth and Dufferin United Football Club? A bit longer to think about that one, perhaps. Moving on then to question 7. What is the term for scoring 2 under par in golf? What is the term for scoring 2 under par in golf? And going on to question 8. A vetch is a common hedgerow plant, flowering now. What Welsh sports team used to play at the Vetch Field? Question 8 is what Welsh sports team used to play at the Vetch Field? Question 9. Which nation in the British and Irish Lions does not have a plant for their emblem? Question 9 is which nation in the British and Irish Lions does not have a plant for their emblem? And the last question in this round is what racket sport traditionally used duck or goose feathers? Question 10 is what racket sport traditionally used duck or goose feathers? Okay, folks, give you a few seconds more to digest those, and we'll go back and read through them all quickly again. Okay, question 1 was what tree is a cricket bat made from? Question 2 is what species of moth swarmed the Euro 2016 football final? Question 3 is what British bird of prey is 5 times faster than Usain Bolt? Question 4 is in what sport will you find ospreys? Question 5 is what type of bat would you find in Yankee Stadium? Question 6 is what bird is the nickname of Barmouth and Dufferin United Football Club? Question 7 is what is the term for scoring 2 under par in golf? Question 8 is what Welsh sports team used to play at the Vetch Field? Question 9 is which nation in the British and Irish Lions does not have a plant for their emblem? Question 10 is what racket sport traditionally used duck or goose feathers? Right. There we are. I hope everyone's got answers for those, and let's move on to those answers. Okay, so the first lot of answers. Question 1, what tree is the cricket bat made from is, of course, it's a willow. The clever clogs, if they had Salix alba, which I believe is the most common, or is the wood that is used, I suppose we could give a bonus point, but it's a willow gets a point. Question 2, the moth that invaded the Euro 2016 football final was the silver why. One theory is that they left the lights on the night before and turned the stadium into a giant moth trap. Question 3, that bird is, of course, the peregrine falcon, being 5 times faster than Usain Bolt. You would find ospreys in rugby union. I hope everyone got that. And just for the record, ospreys aren't used in falconry. And question 5, what bat would you find in Yankee Stadium? And of course the answer there is the baseball bat. Say rather tongue-in-cheek. And on to the next lot. Barmouth and Dufferin United Football Club's nickname is the Magpies. So the answer is a magpie. Question 7, 2.2 scores under par in golf is generally known as an eagle, but it is sometimes called a double birdie. A birdie is 1 under par. Sometimes it's known as a double birdie. So if you put double birdie, you do get a point for that. We're looking for eagle. And Swansea City Football Club used to play at the Vetch Field until they moved to the Liberty Stadium. So the answer for there is Swansea City FC. The team that doesn't have a plant as their emblem in the British and Irish Lions is, of course, Wales. It's the Prince of Wales feathers. And the answer to question 10, the racket sport that uses the feathers. I'm sure most of you got badminton. And of course, it's the shuttlecock that's used in badminton. And the internet being full of wonderful trivia, I did pick up that apparently a feathered shuttlecock can only use feathers from one wing. So it's got to be either the left or the right. It can't be mixed for some reason. Presumably it affects the flight. There we are, that was round 2, the sport round. Moving on now to round 3. And round 3, the title is What's in a Name? That's the general theme of round 3. What's in a name? Just have time, so let's get on. Question 1, round 3, is what nationality was Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy? What nationality was Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy? Question 2 is what British fish and butterfly share a common name? Question 2 is what British fish and butterfly share a common name? Question 3. What is Punxsutawney Phil, the titular species in a well-known film? Question 3 is, what is Punxsutawney Phil, the titular species in a well-known film? Question 4. Why is a bloody-nosed beetle so called? Question 4. Why is a bloody-nosed beetle so called? Question 5. How can you attract sharks, tigers, and elephants into your garden? So how can you attract sharks, tigers, and elephants into your garden? Go on to question 6. Which iconic inhabitant are the Galapagos Islands named after? Question 6 again. Which iconic inhabitant are the Galapagos Islands named after? I think they have several iconic inhabitants. Which do you think they're named after? Moving on to question 7. Taxus baccata is the scientific name of which tree? Taxus baccata is the scientific name of which tree? On to question 8. How did the kittiwake get its name? Question 8 is, how did the kittiwake get its name? Going on to question 9. What anagram is the new name for the spider genus Tegenaria? Okay, it's perhaps a specialist question here, but it is an anagram of those letters. What anagram is the new name for the spider genus Tegenaria? So that's definitely something you should jot down. Play with that. And question 10 is, what do dunnock and selfeel have in common? So quite different creatures or organisms. What do dunnock and selfeel have in common? Say very different organisms. Okay, while you're thinking about those, I will scroll back to questions, go quickly through them again. So round 3, what's in a name? First question was, what nationality was Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy? Question 2 is, what British fish and butterfly share a common name? Question 3, what is Punxsutawney Phil, titular species in a well-known film? Question 4 is, why is a bloody-nosed beetle so called? Question 5 is, how can you attract sharks, tigers, and elephants into your garden? Question 6 is, which iconic inhabitant are the Galapagos Islands named after? Question 7 is, Taxus baccata is the scientific name of which tree? Question 8, how did the kittiwake get its name? Question 9 is, what anagram is the new name for the spider genus Tegenaria? Question 10 is, what do Dunnock and Selfield have in common? So let's go to the answers. The first lot of answers are, question 1, Linnaeus was Swedish. Latinized name Carolus Linnaeus, I believe his name was Carl Linné. He created the binomial convention that we use to name species. He attempted to put all life in an ordered system in the 18th century. Yeah. Common name of a fish and a butterfly is the grayling, both very attractive in their own ways. Question 3. The answer to question 3 was groundhog. Punxsutawney Phil was the name of a groundhog in the film Groundhog Day. So groundhog is correct. Woodchuck technically is also correct. The groundhog is a type of ground squirrel. I'm afraid gophers and prairie dogs are quite different. So not correct. Answer to question 4, the bloody-nosed beetle secretes red fluid as a defense mechanism. So if you had, he has a red nose, excuse me, unfortunately that's wrong. If you disturb them, and you will find them in summer quite often around the coast, near where I live, in southwest Wales, you see them secreting this red fluid from their mouth. Answer to question 5 is, how would you attract, question 5 was, excuse me, how do you attract sharks, elephants and tigers into your garden? Of course, they're all types of moth. I may have given a clue to that with the Euro 2016 final. So moth trapping would be the way to do it. I guess we can accept light. If you knew there were moths and you put a light up, we can accept that as correct. The next lot of answers are, question 6, the Galapagos Islands are named after the tortoises, Galapagos being an old Spanish name for the tortoise. It's not used nowadays, but it is an old Spanish name for tortoise. Question 7, Taxus baccata is the yew tree. Question 8, kittiwake is named after its call. And I'd love to be able to play it, but we had some trouble with playing sounds on this quiz recording. So I'm afraid I can refer you to websites like the RSPB that listen to the kittiwake call. The anagram for the spider name of Tegenaria is now Eratigena. These are generally known as house spiders. And the answer to question 10, Dunnock and Selfield, quite different, being a bird and a plant, but they do have the genus name in common, which is Prunella. So, here we are. I will now move on to round 4. Now, round 4 is a picture round. And our first picture, question 1, is whose eggs are these? Now we do have some larger pictures, which I'll flip backwards and forwards to. But first question here is whose eggs are these? You might get an idea from the picture that that's quite a small nest. The scale. It's quite difficult to scale, but I think you can see that it's a fairly small nest. So whose eggs are these? Next question. Whose eyes are these? Is it A, an owl, B, a shield bug, C, a spider, or D, a hermit crab? Some of these are multiple choice, which might help you. Whose eyes are these? Are they A, an owl, B, a shield bug, C, a spider, or D, a hermit crab? And the scary picture coming up. Oh. Just remind you of your choices again. Owl, shield bug, spider, hermit crab. Moving on to question 3. What type of organism is this? Picture. Look closely at it, it might give you a clue. What type of organism is this? Question 4 next. What is hitching a ride? Is it A, pseudoscorpions, B, beetle larvae, C, mites, or D, springtails? A closer look at them. The options were A, pseudoscorpions, remember, B was beetle larvae, C was mites, and D was springtails. Flip back to that. Make sure I got those in the right order. Okay. Going on to question 5. Is this a butterfly or a moth? Picture. So is this a butterfly or a moth? Straightforward question. Question 6. Where would you find this beetle? Would it be A, on decaying wood, B, on rosemary, C, in a riverbed, or D, up a mountain? I'll give you the options again, and the big picture is A, on decaying wood, B, on rosemary, C, in a riverbed, D, up a mountain? So lovely colours there. On that beetle. Quickly, the options again. Before we move on to question 7. What species ate these nuts? Question 7 is, what species ate these nuts? Question 8 is, what is this? Is it A, viper's bugloss seed? Is it B, a parasitized spider? Is it C, pocket lint from the depths of a recorder's pocket? Or D, hedgehog flea? Is it A, viper's bugloss seed? B, a parasitized spider? C, pocket lint? Or D, hedgehog flea? A strange looking picture, this one. Get conscious of time now, so I'm going to move on to question 9 fairly quickly. What species is this? Question 9 is, what species is this? And I will now go on to question 10. The last one in this round is, where would you find this? Where would this thing be? Would it be A, in a honeybee hive, B, in a bird's nest, C, in a badger set, or D, in a bat roost? So those options again are A, honeybee hive, B, a bird's nest, C, would it be in a badger set, or D, in a bat roost? Larger picture here. Another strange looking creature. I'll go back to the options again for you before we finish. So with this round, I won't dwell on the pictures. Again, as I say, we're conscious of time. So I will flip back and try and run through those questions again for round 4 before we go on to the answers. So the first question was, whose eggs are these? Next question was, whose eyes are these? The owl, shieldbug, spider, or hermit crab. Question 3 was, what type of organism is this? Question 4 is, what is hitching a ride here? Is it pseudoscorpions, beetle larvae, mites, or springtails? Question 5, is this a butterfly or a moth? Question 6 is, where would you find this beetle? Would it be on decaying wood, on rosemary, in a riverbed or up a mountain? Question 7 is, what species ate these nuts? Question 8 is, what is this? Is it viper's bugloss seed, parasitized spider, pocket lint, or a hedgehog flea? Question 9 is, what species is this? And question 10, where would you find this? Would it be in a honeybee hive, in a bird's nest, badger set, or in a bat roost? So let's go to the answers. Question 1, the eggs of the chaffinch, one of our commonest birds. Quite tricky, some of these. Some had the options, some were easier, some were quite hard, I think. So question 1, eggs of a chaffinch. Question 2, those were the eyes of a spider. It was a crab spider of some species, but these were a spider's eyes. Question 3, the organism is in fact a slime mold. Now, slime molds aren't fungi, technically, so I don't think we can give a correct answer for fungi. It is in fact a slime mold, Badamia utricularis, I believe, which is found on deadwood. A difficult one, that. Question 4. The hitching a ride question is, the answer is pseudoscorpions. Apparently, they do this as a matter of habit, and they are, as far as anyone knows, just hitchhiking a ride. That is what they're doing. Technical name being phorese. So we could give you a bonus point if you got phorese. Question 5. The picture is a picture of a moth, a cinnabar moth, colourful day-flying moth. Question 6. That lovely beetle you would find up a mountain, in fact, in Snowdonia. Excuse me. It is the Snowdonia rainbow beetle. Who ate the nuts? Well, I hope most of you got hazel dormouse. That is a characteristic gnawing pattern, which I hope the photograph helped to show up, the enlarged photograph. The tooth marks around the quite neat hole in the nut. Question 7. Sorry, question 8 is, the answer is, it's a parasitized spider. Parasitized by a fungus, I believe. I may be corrected on that, but question 9 was a picture of bee orchid. Close-up of the bee orchid. The question 10 is, you would find that creature in a honeybee hive. That was a picture of the varroa mite, which does such damage to the bee colonies. So I think if you got varroa mite, then deserve a bonus point there, I think. Okay, we're very getting on now, coming up to the hour, and we've still got a round to go. So I will move on to our last round, round 5. Round 5 is being titled Nature Knowledge. A bit of a mixture in here, I think. Question 1, what kind of organism is a dingy skipper? What kind of organism is a dingy skipper? Question 2, what colour is a robin's breast? What colour is a robin's breast? Question 3. Who founded the Wildfowl and Wetland Trust? Question 3 is who founded the Wildfowl and Wetland Trust? Question 4. What bird is the logo of the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park Authority? Question 4 is what bird is the logo of the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park Authority? Question 5 is what wood was Harry Potter's wand made from? Question 5 is what wood was Harry Potter's wand made from? I'll give you too long because of time. Let's move on to question 6. Tricky one, this perhaps. Oh, we live in a world of abbreviations and acronyms. So if anyone knows, I think we have to give 3 points for this question, one for each. What do the following abbreviations stand for? A, NBN, B, NFBR, and C, ALERC. What do the following abbreviations stand for? A, NBN, B, NFBR, and C, ALERC. So there's a clue here. So I'm hoping that most of you may get one of these correct. So there is a clue. This could take some thought because there are 3 of these. However, we can't spend too long on just this one question. Perhaps there might be an idea to jot those down and have a think about them while we move on. Okay. So going on to question 7, who wrote Silent Spring in 1962? Question 7 is who wrote Silent Spring in 1962? Question 8 is what are King Alfred's cakes? What are commonly known as King Alfred's cakes? Question 9 is what kind of animal was Tarka? Question 9 is what kind of animal was Tarka? Question 10, the last question of the quiz. What do the fungus Omphalotus olearius and the beetle Lampyris noctiluca have in common? There's a pronounced correctly. So question 10 is, what do the fungus Omphalotus olearius and the beetle Lampyris noctiluca have in common? Okay, so I'll scroll back to the beginning. We'll go through those questions again before we move on to the answers. First question in this last round was, what kind of organism is a dingy skipper? Question 2 is, what colour is a robin's breast? Question 3 is, who founded the Wildfowl and Wetland Trust? Question 4 is, what bird is the logo of the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park Authority? Question 5 is, what wood was Harry Potter's wand made from? Question 6 is, what do the following abbreviations stand for? A, NBN, B, NFBR, and C, ALERC. Question 7 is, who wrote Silent Spring in 1962? Question 8 is, what are King Alfred's cakes? Question 9 is, what kind of animal was Tarka? And question 10 is, what do the fungus Omphalotus olearius and the beetle Lampyris noctiluca have in common? Going on to the answers. Now we do have a tiebreaker question. Now I made that about 52 points. There were 2 or 3 bonus points thrown in. But if everyone is listening, and some of you are doing it as a group and you're being competitive, we thought we should put a tiebreak question in. And the tiebreaker is, how many records do the 4 Welsh LERCs hold in total? That is, how many biological records do the 4 Welsh LERCs hold in total? So the answers to round 5. I should perhaps go back to this. I think the closest has to get it if you're doing a tie break, but we would certainly be looking at to the nearest million. I'll get on to round 5 answers now. So the answers to question 1, dingy skipper is a butterfly. Answer to question 2, a robin's breast is orange. Now, and we've got to accept only orange. Orange is the only correct answer. I'm afraid red will not do. Question 3, Sir Peter Scott founded the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust in 1946. Question 4, the bird on the logo of the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park Authority is actually a razorbill. Many people might guess a puffin, but although common as a logo, it's the bird is the razorbill. Question 5, Harry Potter's wand is of course made from holly. Question 6, these were the initials, the abbreviations. Difficult one, this perhaps. So the NBN is the National Biodiversity Network. The NFBR is the National Forum for Biological Recording, but I think you're finding on site something like National Federation for Biological Recording. I think you should get the point. And question C was ALERC, a LERC, is the Association of Local Environmental Record Centres. And the clue in the slide was the logo of ourselves, the Wales LERCs, which was down in the corner of the slide. That is the National Association, which we are members of. Okay, so I have to move on again, because that was such a big question. Question 7, Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring, pioneering work of environmental science in 1962. Question 8 was King Alfred's cakes are a fungus. They are the black rounded fungus that you often see on trees like dead ash, although not exclusively. For the experts, I believe it's called Daldenia concentrica. If you break it or slice it, you can see lots of concentric lines inside it. Question 9 was Tarka was an otter. Tarka the otter was published in 1927. It was later a film. Also influential in its own way back in the day. And another little bit of trivia in looking these things up. You can, still on YouTube, hear Sir David Attenborough reading the novel, if you're interested. Might be something to do in lockdown. And question 10, the two organisms, the fungus and the Lampyris noctiluca, they both glow in the dark. Lampyris noctiluca is the glowworm, and the fungus is known as the jack-o'-lantern fungus. So, there we are, that's the end of the main questions. The tiebreaker, as I said, I did remember to say that perhaps to the nearest million. The actual number is 13,143,377 records and counting. And I'm sure that the Garden BioBlitz that we had on Saturday will add quite a few thousand more to that total. And there's so many biological records the Welsh Records Centres hold in their shared database. And it's quite extraordinary and marvelous thing for Wales. Give me a sec. No. So everyone, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. Remember to post your scores when the feed is switched on after this quiz. So, diolch am gymryd rhan. Hwyl fawr. Oh, just been pointed out to me, there is one more slide which I'm going to leave you with, which has got some links there. There we are. So, hwyl fawr again.